Good morning. School bus dropping the kids off for school. Have a good day, okay, boys?
I'm not putting cars in school buses to drop them off.
All right, we'll see you tonight. All right, well, I'm back at the farm here this morning. We do have nice sunshine. There was a bit of a fog, like just a real light fog this morning. That might slow us down getting started. There appears to only be one more load of beans in the overhead. All in today. Phil is, I assume, already left with the first one, so I'm probably just going to let him do that. Because I have some other stuff we can work on, like getting my seed warehouse cleaned up. They want to ship me beans already, so we got to make room for beans. Since I've got a couple minutes here this morning, one of the things that I've wanted to do and just haven't really taken the time yet is to start analyzing some of our yield data, looking for differences in the side-by-sides that we did. One of those is with this source product that I've been trialing. We've combined some bean fields that we used it on, and so the product costs somewhere around $10, $12 an acre, so it takes one bushel to pay for it, and you're not going to pick that out on a yield map in the combine. You really have to sit down with the computer here and dig through it and analyze a little bit. So that's what I'm working on. Let me show you what I am finding here. So this is one of our bean fields that was down to Berkey. You guys may remember when we were running this one was the last one we did down here next to all the houses. We had a patch of white mold right here, sand ridge over here that the yield dropped off, but overall these were very good beans in the mid 70s or upper 70s even. So really happy with it. Now, that is the map of where the source got applied. Okay, so we can see those side by side. There was a strip here, and then a strip in the middle that did not get it. And if we just look at the whole field and we go here, target rate was 15 gallons on this spray application, and target rate not available means it didn't get sprayed. We had 45 acres did, 31 that did not, 46 and 31. 77.7 versus 74.39. So that would lead you to believe that there was a 3.5 bushel difference. That's not too bad. Like, that's pretty good preliminary data. However, let's highlight certain areas out of this field. Let's eliminate the end rows and maybe just highlight the rest of the interior of the field, or even, you know, just in the good spots and just in the bad spots, and see if it made a difference in those areas. So if we highlight this box around it and we just eliminate the ends, the north and south end rows, we're still showing almost a 2 bushel difference. Is that right? Yeah. That's break even to slightly paying for itself. Okay. That's not bad. If we go up here just to the really good areas of the field, we're still positive at 1.25 bushels. It's not a huge win, but it's not a loss. It's still doing something. Now let's move this entire zone. Can I just grab the whole thing? Yeah, and move it down here to the not so productive and see what the data says on that. There, we're up to 2.25. So it seems to help more in maybe the poorer yielding areas than the super productive yielding areas, which is exactly what I would expect to see. That product is designed to make nitrogen and phosphorus more available to the plants. In our highly productive soil, the nitrogen and phosphorus is already available to the plants. And so where we have tighter or tougher soils and stuff that it's tied up more and the plants need to get more nutrients, is where that source is able to break those nutrients down and get them into the plant. And so that makes a lot of sense to me that the lower yielding areas, you're going to see a bigger difference. Been looking through a few other maps. I'll show this one here. This is another field down to Berkey. This is one where we used a lot of my foliar feed stuff. Not the source, but the Ag Explore products. And you can see we covered most of the field, but we do have a strip over here that was left. And there was 2 different timings of products, applications that we put stuff on there. It's showing me 3 bushel, not quite, 2.5 to 3 bushel advantage, which is something, even if we shrink the zone down so we're a little more even in acres. It still shows something. It's probably closer to break even than actually making any money though. So I'm not writing it off. 79.7, 82.5. Yeah, you're still 2 3/4 bushel. So 2 3/4 times 12. That's what, $30 an acre. 2.75 times 12 is 33. I'll have to add up the cost of the products that we put in there and see if that made us money or not. Did not in that field. We spent 42 to make 33. That's bad math. So I've got a couple of other fields with those same trials. One more of soybeans, and then we've got another one or a couple more with corn, and we'll see if there's any difference there. But I am struggling to make those products pay. All right, well, there's some data for you. So Phil just came back and loaded up with what was in the overhead, and he tells me there's more in there than what I had thought. There's almost another load, and we still have some beans on the grain cart from last night. So I am going to load up a load and haul it to the elevator. And I get the good truck today. Yeah, let's do this. Scratch that. There was a full load in the overhead, or almost. Like, I wouldn't get hardly anything off the cart. Certainly wouldn't get it empty. There's no reason to go over there. So I'm going to haul it in, and we'll just stop at the field on the way back and unload. Nailed it. Oh, busy today. We got a line. Shoot. That's okay. That's okay. It's 10 o'clock. We're going to start harvesting as soon as we get back, though. Okay, we are back. I'm going to assume Phil stopped at the field to unload that grain cart because he left just before I did from the elevator, and he is not here yet. It is 10:30. It's sunshine, and I saw somebody out combine. It's time to go. We got to get real busy real fast here. Get my water out of my truck. I'm going to take Dad's truck over to the field, I think. Or a truck. Yeah, Dad must have taken my Chevy, so I'm going to take his truck over there to pull the head. Because we got to drop the head and move. Getting the combine going, we got a couple of broken things this morning to address. We got a guard right here, knife here, and a knife here. Well, I got those ones fixed. There was a couple more down here, so we're doing some more. Alright, that took way too freaking long. Ended up being another couple more broken ones. And it's fine, it's fine. But now we're late. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. We got Brock here too, so we should be able to get moved easy. So the field we're going to is just a half mile down the road, which is nice, it's easy. So I'm gonna take the combine down there, hook the head up and start combining and let them worry about getting the rest of the stuff moved. Oh, I tell you. Well, it's an hour later than I wanted to be starting, but we're running here. So we've got a little 35-acre piece that we're going to run quick here. We'll stop back at the farm for fuel and then on to the next one that's 108. And unfortunately, that's probably all we're going to get done today, but we'll see how it goes. See what the weather does later tonight. It's supposed to cloud up and maybe chances of rain before we even get that far. The problem with doing big fields that you don't finish until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night is that you're not going to move at that point and go somewhere different. So, oh well. Like I said, Brock is here today, so we have a grain cart driver all day, which should help us get a little bit more done. So we'll see how much of a difference that makes in beans. Corn, it makes a heck of a difference. This field of beans is going to be outstanding. Outstanding. Like, we're running 80s through here. The end rows brought us down, but we're already over a 60 bushel average, and it's going to climb significantly from here. So these were ultra early planted soybeans. I think the 13th or 13th of April is what it was. This is the field where Phil ended up having some tractor trouble with the 8R over there. Then we finished him up the next morning after the John Deere dealer came, found a bad sensor or wire or something, O-ring. It was a blown O-ring in a priority valve, that's what it was. And they fixed that, and then I finished planting the field out that one morning. So, yeah, look like they're going to do really, really well. We'll see. That's a good thing. So the other day we did a software update on our combine, and one of the features that software update pushed out to us is a feature called Auto Track Turn Automation, which we have had on the tractor, the 8RX, for a while. I used it a little bit in the spring with the planter, but has never been available on combines until this update that came out this week, or last week, or whenever it was. So we're trying to get that set up. This is a decent spot to try it, so I thought, what the heck, let's see. So the first thing we have to do is have a headland boundary, and so this is the boundary of the field, and I have chosen to do a top and bottom offset of 80 feet, and that is the dotted yellow line there. So it is drawing that 80 feet off, which 2 passes with my head is about 80 feet. And so we're gonna save that, and then we're gonna go to this auto track turn automation, and we're gonna turn it on. We're gonna see what happens, but we wanna start this turn, I think, a little after. Let's say 15 feet. We'll try that. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. It will do skip passes and stuff if you're working in lands, kind of, but with beans we don't do that. In corn we would. So as we get up to the end here, it shows that it is on. And we're going to find out if it's going to turn or not. Now, it does not raise and lower the head. Approaching impassable boundary. Okay, so we may need to adjust some settings. Yeah, it's starting to turn too late. All right, so we got to play with that setting a little bit. So we've made not quite 2 rounds. These are short rows. Since the last time we unloaded, this is the first tank load that has not had any end rows in it. The box next to the map there is the load. 80.1 since we unloaded last time. Whoa, buddy, these beans are good. That's cool. So I'm figuring this turn automation out. I got the last one. I forgot after the first one didn't turn in time, and then I forgot when I got to the other end, and I just turned manually, and then the last time I let it go through and it worked, but I didn't film it. So I'll try to remember when we get to the end of the field to film it for you, because it's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie, this is cool. All right, so we just got done unloading on the go. Now there is a setting in there that you can tell it to allow a turn with the auger out or not allow a turn with the auger out. I don't leave the auger out anyway, but we'll fold that in and it's good. Yeah, auger extended, ensure clearance while turning, but it's going back in. Okay, now we gotta lift the head up. I'm not touching the steering wheel. It's following our line. We're getting the head right on the edge. We might need to shorten up that turn distance just a little bit. I'll put the head back down. Ah, cool. Cool, cool, cool. There we go. Now I will admit it's a little gimmicky. I mean, it's cool, yes, but it's not that hard to turn a steering wheel, right? Half the time I forget anyway, and I just turn, so. But, as with any new technology that John Deere brings out, this is step 1. Step 1 is, it just turns. There will be another software update, probably not this fall, but eventually, that allows it to raise the head up and lower it, and it allows it to control speed, or, it's going to get better and better and better. It's all steps towards automation. That's what all of this stuff is. And more that they can do without operator input, the easier it is to do it without an operator at all in the future. And we can have an argument about whether that's good or bad, but it's coming. So it is what it is. Somebody lost their deer. It's laying there. There's a buck, sort of. Not much of it left, but some bones. So I did not want to run it through the combine. I know that. So these beans have been excellent, most all the way across this field. We're over 75 average. This is phenomenal. I'm a little surprised by it, but yeah, these are good beans. However, we're getting in along this low ground here, and we've got a bunch of them that are laying flat here. And I don't think it's a ton of disease. There may be some white mold in it, but I think it's a variety problem where this is a tall, rank bean, and this is really good dirt down here, and they just got too tall, and they fell down, and the yield's going to drop way off because of it. But the rest of the field makes up for it. This is a pretty small spot, grand scheme of things. So we do need to go along the edge there and kind of open up some end rows. So we'll do that after we get this pass done, get everything unloaded here. It's fun. It's fun combining really good beans. Yeah, look at that. Right where they went down, right there. No good. Oh, they're not going to get them all. Close enough. Close enough. We don't have to worry about that little bit right there. We got this one done. Those were dang good beans. They did drop off a little bit over here, but we still averaged 74.5. I'll take that. That's a freaking win. So, hurry up and move. You would think the header cart would be hooked up and ready to go, but sitting here in the field for 20 minutes. It's okay. Let's go. Fueling. Brock's getting my DEF tote out. I didn't put any in the other day. I probably don't need it right now, but we're gonna get there, and we got time now to get it out, so we'll fill her up here. Okay, next field on the list. There's 108 acres in this one. This is one that a lot of you have been waiting for. This is the field that we irrigated back in June. Personally, I think it was a waste of time, and it's not gonna help these beans at all. They don't look great. They've never looked great, although in the back here, they're much better than by the road up here. We do have some stand issues where they're thin. That's going to cause us problems. I don't know. I am really curious to see how these beans do, because they have not looked good for most of the year. So I don't know. Like I said, these beans are going to be just terrible. Just absolutely horrible, terrible, no good beans. Sure, now they drop off. They were better than that even. I did say there was some good ones out here. They're not going to be that good. I mean, field average right now is at 47, so we should be somewhere in the mid-50s by the time it's all said and done, would be my guess. There we go. There they are. There they are. Look at them. They're just horrible. Horrible, no good, terrible beans. It's a real shame that the seed company that I bought these beans from doesn't want me to advertise for them. They don't even want me to say their name, so I guess I won't tell you what kind of beans these are that we're yielding 100 bushel in that spot back there. Oh well. Right here's our center lane from when we irrigated. See, we got some tire tracks there, but not totally destroyed. We'll see how these do. It's going to be highly variable given what I'm seeing on the map right now. And when you get clear in the back and it drops off into the better ground, they're really good. They're really, really good back there. But the rest of this field is going to be iffy. We're in the 50s right here. Tough. I think the biggest thing here was just planting dates, and it was the wrong day to plant. These beans struggled to come up. We had beans that were planted before this that have been much better. We have beans planted after this that were also much better. So we just picked the wrong day on this field. So on this side of this field here, we've got these rows that are 3/4 of a mile long. In corn, we usually, the end rows that I put by these trees over there, I just extend all the way through the field, and we have end rows in there so we can turn around because we can't go 3/4 of a mile on a combine field. But in beans, we can make it from one end to the other. We do have to run the cart. This is as far as I can make it. I mean, I can't come even close to making it around, but it's fun. It's productive when you're running really long rows. You don't have to turn as much and stop. So we're 32 acres into this field already, and this is the last of the really long passes. Now we get over to the trees, and we've got to do some more end rows in there, but the beans get better as we go to the north here, so we'll see. So far, I mean, they're highly variable, right? We got really good ones in the back. We're starting to get some decent pockets through the middle, and then you got red spots where they're just terrible. And we're still averaging close to 60, 59.8. That I'm thrilled with. I think it's going to drop off from there, but we'll see. All right, well, we got the end rows in front of the trees done. We're making a pass up through here. These are the good beans. Like, this is really good in here. Running in the 70s and 80s. I don't think there's a lot. There is a fair bit of these, actually. So, wow, we're going to be okay here. I've been having a little bit of trouble with the combine the last round or two here. It's like it's dying, and it's hard to explain, but it's like the recording is turning off. It's kicking in and out, almost like the separator is turning off and then re-engaging real quick before it dies, kind of thing. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I started playing with this switch. This is the switch that engages it, and it seems like I can make it work a little bit better. I had to replace one of these switches, I think it was the header one, on the 680, our old combine. So I'm wondering if this switch isn't going bad and giving me trouble. So I pulled it out so I could look at it a little better. There's a part number on there. Our dealer does not have one in any of their locations, nor do they have a price assigned to it, like they've never sold one. So that gives me a little cause for concern that maybe that's not the problem, but I don't know what else it could be. Right there, see, it just did it. See that little tiny line where it kicked out there? And then it's back in. Sometimes it's real fast like that, and it's hardly noticeable, and other times it lasts for a couple of seconds, and I don't know. I'm going to stop playing with that and just leave it there unless I have trouble, and then I can mess with it. Alright, well, in a very un-John Deere-like situation, John Deere, the dealer, none of their locations, nor John Deere has one of those switches. Like, there isn't any in the country. Or maybe some other dealer has one, but John Deere doesn't, my dealer doesn't. So, that's a problem. Now, the switch right next to it is technically a different part number because it's got the reverser feature for the header. I have a feeling it would work. I just don't need that reverse functionality. Wouldn't do anything. So we may do some experimenting. As long as it's running right now, I'm going to leave it. But if I start having more trouble, maybe I'll switch those two just to see if the separator will engage with the other switch. And if it will, then I can get one of those. They do have one of those in stock. I can get that coming, and we can just use that in the meantime. Assuming the switch is the problem and there's not something bigger going on here. I'm not real sure, actually. See that? Now it stopped. Why does it do that? I'm getting a little frustrated. This is a problem. I don't know what to do about it. I'm playing with this switch, the connections. I can't run like this. Dang it. Now it's going to be normal. Nope. And then I get this error code. But it's, yeah, I don't, something's not right. Alright, well I stopped and the connection is not on the bottom of the switch. The pigtail is soldered to it, and then it's plugged into the controller that's in the armrest, and I can't actually get to those connections without taking this whole armrest apart. So there's not a whole lot I can do. I wiggled the stuff around, can reach my fingers up in there and try and wiggle the wires a little bit. I really think it's a bad connection somewhere in the switch, or the switch itself is actually going bad. So the fact that John Deere doesn't have one is very concerning to me. I don't know what to do about that other than hope that this one would work. The only way I can tell that is to take this armrest apart and see if the connectors physically will plug into the opposite one, switch it, and then try and turn the separator on. If that works, then the switch will work. But I'm not trying that right now, so we're trying to band-aid it to get done tonight, to get this field done before it rains, and then hopefully we can work on it tomorrow and figure something out. Alright, now I'm really getting ticked. Now I can't even swing the unloading auger. Gosh dang it. We're going to get to the end of the field and we're going to do a restart. We're going to shut everything off, put the battery disconnect, start everything back up. Oh, it's still doing that too. Driving me nuts. It's probably the software update. It's probably the software update. I have talked to the dealer, well, one of the people at the dealer, but it's 5 o'clock, like they aren't coming tonight, and I don't know what to do. Did I show you that the unloading auger wouldn't go out? Yeah, well, we got that fixed, or I don't know, it just didn't fix anything. I just waited and it went. I got a call back from the service manager at the dealership, and we're still having our issue. It's still intermittent. In fact, I'm going to stop here. Dang. He said that they got to combine on the lot, identical to ours, that if we need to steal a switch out of, because that's the issue, we can do that. I have a hard time believing that's the issue, as did he. Dang it, come on. There we go. It's like it does it a bunch and then it goes away for a while. Anyway, he looked into some stuff and he said there's a whole pile, gosh dang it, of software updates. Which I'm like, didn't we just do a bunch of software updates on this combine? But there's a whole pile of them. So he pushed them to me and said, I don't really want to stop and do this right now, but if it fixes the problem, we might have to do it. So I said, well, send them, and if I can't figure something out, then we'll do the software updates. I'm getting frustrated, though. Okay, we're running again without any issues at the moment. Anyway, what I was trying to say before my frustration was that it could potentially be a controller going bad or wires going to a controller being an issue. This LC1 controller, which I don't know what all that controls, but when you have multiple problems that arise at the same time that seem unrelated, it's probably that they share a controller and that controller is having issues. So, we've got problems. We're going to attempt to limp it through the rest of this field tonight. I don't know if we're going to make it, but there's rain coming, and we're going to try and limp it through and then deal with it tomorrow, if at all possible. So, frustrating. Maybe I should go buy a black combine. Back to the soybean harvest side of this. There's some dang good beans right here. Yeah. See, when it does that, it's not recording. It's not good. I forgot to do my restart because before I got to the end of that pass, the service manager called me and I was talking to him. So we're going to do it right now. Back up and running here, and we'll see what happens. So, I do fully understand that this is all my fault because I closed last night's video with, sure is nice when everything just works, isn't it? Yeah. Teach me. Well, I don't want to jinx anything, but it appears that I broke rule number 1 of troubleshooting. Unplug it and plug it back in. Since I restarted the combine, disconnected the batteries, and started everything up, I have had zero trouble. Everything seems to be working normally and fine. That's good. Frustrating, but really good. So, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was and why it just started happening all of a sudden in the middle of the day. I can't tell you. But at the moment, we're back to running. I will also point out that I've said that this field is much better in the back than it is along the road, right? The road's here. This is the crap. Back here, they're pretty good. All this stuff back here. Now we've got some grass and stuff right here that's not going to be great. But the average is holding. Like we have some really good beans out here. We're sitting at 61. I'm a little surprised by that. Not terribly surprised. I don't know. We'll see. But these beans aren't as bad as they looked like they were going to be. And it's hard for me to say whether the irrigation helped at all or not. I think it probably helped some of them and probably didn't help others. So kind of is what it is. I don't think it was worth it this year. Not in June. But I don't know. At least they're still okay. I picked up a rider, although he's got his tablet, so he's probably not interested in combining at all tonight. Did you grow any more teeth? You lose any more teeth?
No.
Oh, okay. Good. Stop being mean to me. You're such a punk.
You're such a punk.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, all going well. It's starting to get dark here. We're about 25 acres to go yet. So we should be able to finish it. It is clouding up, but the rain's still a ways off yet. So we're going to have a good day still. Doing the last of the end rows back in this point here. That's where our pump was sitting when we were watering out of here. That filter strip back in. In fact, right there is the lane where we had the pipe laying. So that's kind of where we're at in this field. Dang good beans back here. Or at least they look like dang good beans, are they? Oh yeah, they are. a little hard sometimes when you're steering along the edge and there's a bunch of weeds. And I'm trying to film and talk to you guys to watch the monitors and do everything all at once. But we're getting it. Weather conditions are definitely different than the last couple of nights. I can feel the beans starting to get tough, especially in the low ground in the back here. We got these big tall rank beans that are kind of laying down a little bit. They're starting to get a little dew setting in on them. But we've got about a round and a half left, or not even that much, like 3 acres. So we're gonna get them done. Last full pass as we work our way back up towards the road here. We do have a little sliver over there yet, and it's 6 or 8 feet wide is all. But we're gonna get done here. These beans held on. Look at that. 61 field average. I will take it. That's awesome. I am pleasantly surprised at how good these were. Like I said, they looked like crap from the road. Now, keep in mind, the road is here, and these are the beans that you can see from the road, and they were crap. Those ones were terrible. It's this spot here that saved us, and a little bit back there. So, average is what matter, I guess. All right, well, we got this one done. There is a part of me that thinks we should move and go to another field tonight and see how much more we can do before the rain gets here. And then there's those beans were starting to get tough as it is. By the time we get moved, you're gonna work for half an hour, maybe an hour, and not do a great job at that. What's the point? I think that part's gonna win, but we'll have that conversation with everybody else and see what we wanna do. Since there's rain coming, we'll go ahead and put the combine in for the night, which also means, yeah, we're not going to another field. Those beans were just starting to get a little bit tough as it was, so we're just gonna park it for tonight. No sense in going to another field at 9 o'clock at night. If we had one that I could get to right there or not drop the head and have to move, I would have done it, but we're not in that situation, so we'll see what happens with the weather tonight and what we can do tomorrow. All right, that's it. We did look at the grain cart data for that field. The combine was reading a little high. That can happen when you have super variable stuff like that, and especially them super low yielding areas. Sometimes it takes it a little while to get the calibration right with that kind of a flow. So combine was reading a little high. They did not make 60. But even after I calibrated, they were still around 58, and that's not bad. For as bad as they look, that's not bad. So anyway, that's what we got. Have a great night. I will see you in the morning. I'm planning on it raining and not combining. If it's not, we'll go, but I'm planning on it being raining, and we'll have to go clean up like the seed warehouse or something. I don't know. Good night.